welcome back to How to Art. This is Sherry Elliott Pope. I have before you a picture of a painting that was done by John Enneking, who lived from 1841 to 1916. He was an American Impressionist painter, and this is entitled Mountain Landscape, which was done in 1902. I have primed the canvas with 2 coats of gesso and applied an underpainting of some leftover paint that I had. I'm applying light blue and white to the sky area. There is just a small amount of sky showing, as the majority of the picture is taken up with the mountains. In this painting, I will be using a filbert brush. I think it's a 10 filbert, and a flathead brush, and it's about a 10 as well, and a line brush. And I think that's about it. I'm blocking in the mountains now, and if you remember from a previous video, we had talked about atmospheric perspective, and that is where the atmosphere affects what we see and how things appear to us in the distance. And so the way that it affects this mountain range is that the colors in the farthest background are going to be a very light color. Typically you will see shades of violets, blue violets, light blues for your distant mountains, and you can see some foliage, but they're just going to be very small bits of muted colors, and the more vibrant colors will be more in the foreground. And so there's going to be a difference in size as well, so that in the background you're going to have these smaller dots of color and muted, and in the foreground it will be the larger dots and more vibrant colors. So as you see, I listed the colors of our color palette in the beginning of the video, and I mixed those colors to create the colors that you'll see on the palette. And so I've taken some of the hooker green, which is a darker color of green, and I've mixed it with some yellow. And if we want to deaden that brighter green, we can mute it by adding its complement of red, and that will help mute it, which will help make it recede into the background. In an effort to keep these videos from becoming too long, I have edited this so that I've sped up the demonstration portion of this video, and I'm doing voiceovers. Also, I have removed those clips that are redundant, so that we can have a concise video packed with information. I'm adding some very pastel oranges in the background now, and I'm hopefully going to be creating the look of fall foliage. Okay, we're going to be working on another mountain now, and as we move forward in the painting, the colors are going to be becoming more vibrant, and so that helps create the sense of depth. And actually the very back mountain actually needs to be a little bit lighter in color so that it will fade away in the background even more than it is now. I've applied some masking tape so that I can block in that farthest mountain, going over it with a white blue wash, which is going to, just barely allow that color, patches of color to show through, and it's really going to help this mountain recede into the background. We also need to think about the areas that are darker and lighter on the painting, and so if you have valleys or indentations in this mountain, those areas are going to be darker, and the areas closer to the surface where the sun is hitting is going to be lighter. And so that gives it the 3D look whenever you have this principle in practice. So as you'll notice, the colors are getting more vibrant as we move closer into the foreground, and the dots are getting bigger. So you can see that we're using some red oranges and yellow greens and darker greens. We're going to also have some yellow shades in there, mixing it with yellow ochre and cadmium yellow and some titanium white to come up with the yellow shades that we'll be using. I've also had to allow time for the paint to dry intermittently. Otherwise, we're going to lose some of the strength of the colors by painting wet on wet. The colors will blend together. While that's good in some paintings, we want to try to keep the integrity of our colors for the most part. Really does take patience and determination to work through this painting, to apply the colors and the dots and allow dry time. Also, it really takes, just a strong desire to get it right. As you may have noticed, I do make mistakes, and I have to go back over and rework areas because I'm not pleased with the outcome. And so I sometimes wonder, I think that probably anybody could be an artist if they're just dedicated enough to want to work through the problems that they might encounter, and to be willing to give it a try. I am using a line brush to make the tree trunks. I've mixed together a tan color for this. We only need to add those tree trunks in the foreground. As you progress in the picture, you're not able to see the ground area where the trunks are. I'm adding darker colors in the foreground to indicate the valley floor. I am blocking in the larger trees that are in the foreground. And I'm starting off with the darker green that you can see just peeking through the areas, the lighter areas that we're going to be adding with the reds and oranges. I'm adding in the brighter colors now of red and orange and yellow in the larger trees in the foreground. I'm adding some highlights on the trees to indicate where the branches are being touched by the daylight. But I did overdo it with the whites in here, and I'll be coming back to make adjustments. We're working on creating the shadow side of the tree now, and so using darker colors for that, and the front and sides of the tree will be capturing the light, the lightest shades, and then the mid values. Let's add the fog, which is really a low-lying cloud, in the mountain area and the valley. I've taken some clear gesso and went over that cloud area to make it look more like a mist rather than clouds. So we're finished. I'm pleased with the results. I hope you are as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.